Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Insane Asylum. Hope everyone is doing well, and yes, I'm in a new environment. Well, old new environment, but that's for another video. So today, yeah, trying to get my thoughts clear, get my mind clear. Yes, so as I'm recording this, I don't know when this video is going to be put up on YouTube because I'm having a bit of a break from YouTube. I'll get into that in another video. That's not important at the moment. But so a couple of days ago, I'd found out that Damo Suzuki had passed away. Now, for people who are new to my channel, welcome all, welcome all. Damo Suzuki was the lead vocalist from 71 to 73 of the German group Can. Now, for a lot of, I would say, for a lot of people who are just casual fans of German music, will always quote Kraftwerk. But for a lot of people who are really deep into that 70s German rock scene, will know Can very, very well. And I mean, if you were to put a Mount Rushmore of 70s German rock, Can would have to be on there. Can would have to be on there. Neu would have to be on there for sure. Maybe put Tangerine Dream in there, even though they cross more into ambient electronica. I mean, each person is different. Each person would have their own people on their Mount Rushmore. But for me, Can would have to be on the Mount Rushmore of 70s German rock. So to describe Damo Suzuki's vocals, for such a tiny Japanese man, the way he would bend and shape his vocals into noises and whispers and chants, the way he would do that with his voice, the sounds, from a whisper to a wail, it seems humanly impossible. His voice was like, the way he used his voice was like an instrument, like a human instrument. The way he used his vocals, and he didn't really necessarily sing. He would sort of like use broken English and various Japanese phrases. He called his vocal style. What was it now? He called his vocal style. music from the Stone Age, sort of, very, very, very different, very, very, very different. And I cannot imagine death metal vocals and punk and a lot of punk singers without Damo Suzuki. He's such, for such a small man, he was a giant. He was an enigmatic, a, a mesmerising performer. He really was. He really, really, really was. Just amazing. And we've got a couple of Can albums. They're reissues, I'm afraid. So, but they're okay. They're okay reissues. They're okay. I'm going to try and get original copies of these, but they're not exactly easy to get. But this is one of my favourite Can albums. It's not my favourite Can album. Tago Mago is my favourite Can album, and the first Can album I ever listened to. But yeah, there's Damo. And of course, this is the first album he appeared on, because he sings Mother Sky on there. Soundtracks. Here's Damo. So yeah, it's a very interesting story on how Damo actually joined Can, because there's a documentary. There's a British documentary from 2009 called Rock Rebuilding Germany, which is basically about how the post-war generation in Germany forged their own identity in music, because at that time, during the late 60s, there was a lot of unrest in Germany. A lot like what was happening in France at the time. There was a lot of unrest, and in Germany, a lot of former Nazis were running the country, were part of the government. So there was a lot of unrest among students, and bands like Amon and Can and Noi, they wanted to reject the Americanization in Germany. They rejected the blues and created something new, something fresh, something that had never been heard before. And a lot of Can stuff was stuff that had never been heard before, and still feels fresh to this day. A lot of Can's music still feels very fresh. It's like every time I listen to Tago Mago, you always hear something different, a nuance that you've never heard before. It's all this. It always, with Can, listening to Can, it always feels like a new experience, like you're hearing it for the first time, always. And what drew me to Can's Tago Mago was the drums and the vocals. Now, the drums and vocals didn't necessarily dominate the music to me, but they were the two elements of Can that really interested me as a 16-year-old in college. So that's the first time I got into camp was in college. And they were the first two elements, was the drums and the vocals. And of course, later on, I began to appreciate, the bass and the keyboards and the guitar. And see what else. Sorry, my mind's a bit wandery at the moment. But so yeah, I started to appreciate not just the vocals and the drums, but everything about Can. And Can, to me, were more free form than any free jazz I've ever heard. They were a band that would go on stage and just improvise just one song for 60 minutes. There was no limitations, because music, there shouldn't be limitations. Music, I've always said, music is the greatest form of human expression. There shouldn't be rules when it comes to music. There shouldn't be, a song only should be 3 minutes, or music is, there shouldn't be rules or regulations. And that's what Damo typified. He was a free spirit. He didn't limit himself in music. He pushed himself. I think he said in an interview, he said Can was good for a while, but he said towards the end he felt limited because it felt conventional to be a vocalist in a rock group. And he said in that Crate Rock documentary, he said, I don't remember much about Can because I was stoned most of the time. And that is it. Yeah, I always remember that quote. Really, really funny. Really funny. Yeah, so, he didn't limit himself, And he also said in an interview, he says, what I do, I wouldn't call what I do improvisation. He says he called it instant composing. So Damo, for many years after he left Can, he would pick out different bands from each country and tour with them. He called them sound carriers, and he would just improvise on stage, and I got to see Damo in the Moon Club in, I think it was either September, October 2018. I know it was around that time. It was before the COVID. And I remember seeing him. I remember going up to him and meeting him, and I don't know how to describe the feeling, but there was definitely an aura. I could feel like there was definitely an aura or a presence. Not a negative aura or force. It was quite positive. Like there was like a lot of energy, coming from him. It was like meeting a real life wizard. I don't know, it's hard to describe, but he definitely had such a presence off stage as well, than on off stage as well as on stage. Because on stage, just absolutely mesmerising, and off stage, mesmerising as well. Because I remember, because I met him with my dad, and he was like, and my dad said, "Oh, my son's a big fan of your music. He got me into Can." And then I think Damo said, "Well," Damo said to me, he said, "Oh, maybe you should be the father to me." And at the time I got confused because I know Damo's, first language wasn't English; it was Japanese. But I think what he meant there was I was wise. Perhaps I was wiser than my age, maybe. Because I've often been told that I'm seen wiser than my age. I don't know. Maybe that's what he meant. I mean, I didn't take it as an insult. I was like, at the time I was like, I don't know. I didn't understand what he meant. But as the years gone by, I think he meant you seem wiser than your age, perhaps. But yeah, he was a very, 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 very nice man. Very no, no, no negative, no negative vibes or pretenses like you get with a lot of people in the music industry. No pretenses at all. No pretentiousness at all. You could see it was a very spiritual, very spiritual and at peace. At peace with himself. You know, and his performance in the Moon Club was just absolutely amazing. It's experience. It's an experience I'll never forget. Honestly, just amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And he also signed this the album he did with the German jam electronic group Jelly Planet. Yeah, brilliant. And I also got this CD, which I got from a record fair a few years ago. I think this is from 2007, where he was live at the UFO Club. Don't know if that's showing. Is that? Oh, it's not really focused, is it? But yeah, I've also got his book. I Am Damo Suzuki somewhere, but I can't seem to find it at the moment. I'm trying to sort things out in here, trying to sort out what books I need, what books I'm going to recycle, and what books I'm going to keep. It's a bit chaotic in here at the moment, but I do have his book. I think he co-wrote it with Paul. I think it's Paul Woods. I think it is, and that was a fascinating read on how he left Japan. He said he felt Japan, its values were very I'm trying to remember the words he used. I think he said Japanese values were too regimentalistic, too regimental. So he just travelled, to different countries to live. He lived in Ireland on a farm. I mean, of course, he went to Germany busking. He travelled. He was a well travelled man, Damo. He really was. And I know he's got a documentary coming out, Energy. I don't know when that's coming out. And I remember also signing to his website, damosuzuki.com. And I remember getting an email saying, thank you for joining the website. Energy. Yes, I am Damo Suzuki. I'm Damo Suzuki. And so's my wife. So I had to get a Life of Brian reference in there. But yeah, I am Damo Suzuki. The Fall. Another great band. Because they got to be good friends as well, Marky Smith and Damo Suzuki. Can you imagine the conversations? Do you know? Because they were very polar opposites. Damo really, reflective, somber, spiritual, and Marky Smith full of spirit in another way. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm fucking pissed, you know what I mean? Oh, fucking hell, I got to do a fucking gig tonight. I'm not fucking doing a fucking gig. I'm not doing a fucking gig until I have my 20th pint. Right, come on. And then the manager then of the place he's having a gig said, get on, Mark, get on. Oh, do I fucking have to? And he gets on, probably throws up and then shows his ass. Because I remember when I used to go to Newport Mind art class. There was a guy, the guy who run the art class now and again. I used to call him James II because the other one used to it was called James as well. He says he remembers seeing The Fall. They didn't play one fucking note. He just showed his ass a couple of times and then walked off stage. Marky Smith. We miss him. Yeah. So, man. Yeah, hearing about Damo's passing hit me quite hard, Hit me harder than I thought it would. Because I've been through quite a few tragic losses this past 8 months, which I'll talk about in another video. I'm going to talk about that in another video. But yeah, Damo, absolute legend, and we're gonna miss you. The world's gonna be a much duller place without you. So rest in peace, Damo, Kenji, Damo Suzuki. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take it easy.
Welcome to the infamous
Why are you crazy?